Chapter 17. Bro carried his pebble puppy as he walked alongside his new friend. The sheer size difference between the two alien beings caused Sully to slightly smile. Gentle Giant and his, rock dog.
"How'd you come to be here, Mr. Sully, sir?"
Bro asked. Sully fiddled with the oversized Jadoon tracker.
I'm retired, so I thought I'd take up traveling. See the cosmos.
No offense, but I don't understand how you could have gotten on board the ship in the first.
Sully interrupted him.
Why don't you tell me what happened here, from your side of things, eh?
It turned out that Bro was an extremely talkative, exuberant young Jadoon. The retired Commodore had noticed he didn't exactly speak like a normal Jadoon, almost exclusively monosyllabically.
"The payment retribution upon receipt of correct paperwork,"
Bro explained in his boisterous tone,
"was about 80 light years from Earth when we got a signal."
What were you doing on your way to Earth?
"We was on orders from the proclamation to track down a criminal and electroform."
Sully glanced at him.
Doesn't sound terribly friendly.
Bro nodded.
"They aren't made to be nice, I don't think. They're all made of pure energy.
Well, exactly how can you catch it?
Kinda like a virus, the electroforms are. We were told to take the special precautions 'cause supposedly they can infect others. You know, take partial control of their minds and whatnot. The captain had me scouring subspace signals if an electroform was trying to impersonate local races, create false and hostile signals, what have you. I was on comm duty rotation at the time. This was weeks ago, mind you, and started picking up the strangest signals."
The TV and radio waves?
Bro was excited again. His tone rushed.
"Ooh, they changed my life. Forever. I thought maybe it was the energy criminal, but it weren't. Not by any stretch. It was a whole chunk of radio and TV signals thrown into space by Earth. I'd never seen anything like it."
Bro stopped to let down his silicone canine. The cute critter ran ahead of the two oddly paired acquaintances.
Hours and hours I sat, watching them comedy plays, watching the news, listening to music. I'd never heard music before.
You'd learn to appreciate culture?
Sully replied.
Art, beauty, yes. All I ever known before were body armor and criminals, arrest invoices and requisition forms.
Sully stopped and took a reading.
Engines are circling the bloody drain. I hope Mr. Red is fixing them.
Mr. Red?
The retired Commodore nodded.
The man in red. Crimson all the time. Ancient High Lord. All that.
He's how you got here? 'Cause I heard Time Lords were super powerful, super geniuses, but they're all extinct now 'cause of some war.
Oh, they're not extinct. The man in red is clever. I'll give you that. But he treats the universe like it's full of monkeys. And it's his job to have the biggest, reddest baboon ass of them all.
The rhinoform grimaced.
I don't understand.
Back to you, bro.
Sully shook his head as he said it.
I'm guessing when the captain found you absorbing Earth media instead of tracking the electroform, he was none too pleased.
Bro sighed.
Had me beaten till I was senseless, he did.
Very Middle Ages.
I don't rightly know what that means, but Captain did formally arrested me. I don't think he even cared if I got down here and got infected or whatnot.
The retired Commodore remembered all the half-dismantled, destroyed, or otherwise corrupted communication terminals strewn about the ship. Feeling as if he'd finally figured out the situation, Sully tried to reach the man in red. No response from the alien. Sully rolled his eyes.
Should have expected.
Abruptly, the entire ship lurched violently. Everything had ground to a complete halt.
Engines finally died,
Bro observed.
How can we get them restarted?
I can help. All Jadoon officials rotate through crew positions, so all of us know how to operate all parts of the ship. If we can get to the engine room...
Maybe.
Sully tapped a finger on his chin.
I really think we need to get back to the bridge. My friend is probably up there.
What makes you say that?
He always ends up on the bridge. Now, how long that bridge lasts after he gets aboard is another matter entirely.
Several hours later, the payment retribution upon receipt of the massive Jadoon ship had been floating, dead in the water, which precipitated an automatic ship-wide evacuation. Shadow Proclamation Code stated that the captain was the last to leave. So the captain, following his orders, stood on the bridge and stared out at the cracked view portal. Voices, not his own, ran through his mind. Thoughts which were strange, bizarre thoughts, also not his own, coursed through his disrupted consciousness. Outside the entry to the bridge stood Sully and Bro, having spent a thoroughly boring and difficult passage of time trying to reach the area without benefit of elevators or transporters, all offline due to engine failure. The retired Commodore wiped his face as he took a deep breath. He looked over at his Jadoon friend and nodded. Bro reached for the door, but his hand was stopped in midair by a powerful grip. The rhinoform found this extremely unsettling. Out of the darkness stepped the man in red.
Not a good idea.
And released Bro's arm. The Jadoon looked down.
Well, you're pretty strong.
As was his typical modus operandi, the stranger in the scarlet suit ignored Bro and rapidly lectured Sully.
There is something very disturbing happening with this whole situation. You'll get no disagreements here, old boy. The Jadoon were never sent here deliberately by the proclamation. That much is obvious.
The Time Lord continued.
My theory is that the electrical form wants the Jadoon out here on a wild goose chase.
Gooses are pretty,
Bro offered.
Yes, geese are.
The man in red acknowledged.
I'm pretty sure the electrical form wants to hitch a ride on your ship. Head back to the Jadoon homeworld.
Sully covered his mouth.
My word, what happens then? It'll take over the entire planet. The Jadoon race will be sublimated, Bro growled.
What?
The Time Lord removed his burgundy fedora and slowly ran his fingers through his dark brown hair.
The entire rhinoform species will be torn apart from the inside.
The young Jadoon raised his voice.
That ain't no fair. We gotta stop this.
The kid is right.
Sully lit a smoke.
So the engines being shot is actually a good thing? For the moment, yes. It buys us some time.
The retired Commodore shook his head.
Always sounds idiotic coming from a Time Lord. Shut up, Sully. All the sabotage, the blast patterns, the dents, the wrecked comm systems, the helmet indentations, it all points to the captain. You think he's infected?
Sully exhaled.
At least partially, yes. I think the captain has been overwhelmed by these psionic signals he's receiving, thinking they're coming from the communication terminals. The poor man is tormented, yet he seems to have it together enough to realize he's infected as a result. I think he's strategically maneuvered the vessel here, to this section of the Pasades, to stop the spread of the infection to the rest of his people.
Sully coughed.
Stop the infection? How? And why do I feel like I'm going to hate the answer? He's evacuated all the Jadoon, which means one thing.
The man in red raised an eyebrow. The retired Commodore gazed at him, askance.
No.
Oh, yes. Sorry to say.
He's going to blow up the ship.
Sully stubbed out his cigarette. Bro looked at the old man and the stranger in red.
That sucks.
The Time Lord in the crimson suit crossed his arms.
I will admit, it is somewhat heroic, but it really is not the best news for any of us.